Hello everyone, this is Amy Fig and you're watching Book of Magic. Welcome back to my channel. Last time I was here with you, we had created this image on our bigger paper by transferring a design that we created in the journal. And I showed you the ways that I transfer my image over when I'm just drawing it freehand. So today I'm going to finish this up with you, and I'm going to show you how I add some symbolism to the art piece according to what I'm going through in my own life, at the moment. So let's get started. So the number one way that I connect with my painting, other than the image here in the center, is that I write on it, usually, sometimes over to the side of it, but I'm gonna write on it today, and I like using this gel pen. It is a Pilot G2 number 7, and I like it because it just makes writing fun. It kind of glides over the paper, and when I add water to it, as you can see, it smears around in the best way possible, and it looks really good as it shows through in the background. Like when I add paint to the background, sometimes certain words show through, and I count that as like just, it's meant to be. It's all very intuitive and the right words show through. So I'm gonna write a little bit about what I'm going through all over this paper, and then I'll explain to you what I wrote. So what I wrote was, I just got a job that I only imagined was possible for me. A 48-year-old mom that's been at home for 20 plus years, trying to be the best support system that she could be for her children. And now I'm allowing my children to be themselves and learning and letting them experience life just as they need to in order to bloom into the highest versions of themselves. And I'm just scribbling over this. I'm adding water, but not like too much water. So so this is what's going on with me right now, and I'm blooming, and I'm just here as a support system as I watch my children bloom into the beautiful adults that they are. And so when it comes to adding something to her hand, I am gonna add the flower that I have here, and I'm gonna play off that idea that the flower is representational of myself and also my kids. I think that it's important to be okay with the painting in every stage of its being, just like it's important to be okay with ourselves and with our children in every stage of being. Don't be afraid to let it look ugly or weird. and know that that's okay too. And everything changes, everything goes through phases, especially us. And it's pretty interesting how the art we create is so poetic in the way that it evolves, and the description of it can also describe our lives and what we're going through. I'm going to use a base color pink, and I'm going to add the neon on top of it. The reason why is because usually neon paint colors are very thin and see-through, and you almost always need something opaque behind them in order for them to show up to the best of their ability. With the headscarf, I like to make it so it's not so perfect. So even like the line that's going right across here, it's kind of uneven. If I try and make it like too rounded or too perfect, it's gonna look, to me, it won't look as natural. So I'm adding like some irregularities to it, because that's how it would really look. There are certain folds in the scarves that show up like this, so it's not completely round and perfect. I feel like I want to go with a red for her dress. It was yellow, my design in my journal, but just want to try something different, see how that looks. Let's see, I think I'm gonna go all the way down to the bottom of the page. And I'm being mindful of the lines that I've drawn. And I'm moving my brush to kind of follow the angles of the lines that I've drawn with my pencil there. Just gonna fill this in. Now that I have this filled in, I have a little bit of the pink that I was using for the scarf, and I'm just gonna use it really lightly to kind of highlight the places in the dress that I want to kind of bring forward. And let's see, I like how that looks, so I'm going to add a little more. I'm going to add that pink to this ruffle here. Just makes it stand out, but in a really gentle way, so that you can see if you want to keep going with that. And then you can layer it as much as you want. And this part of her sleeve, we're gonna make lighter. Because it's seeing the lights hitting it. And then for the inside of the sleeve there, we're going to make that part darker. Inside of the sleeve here is going to be darker because it's hitting the shadow. Oopsie. Let's do some shadow here. Here, this inside area here is gonna have shadow. Here. Maybe here. Probably down here, where the sleeve is gonna kind of go back behind her a little bit. I'm not worried about any of this little bit of white showing through. I kind of like that. The fold in the arm right here, I'm gonna give that some shadow. Maybe the outer edges here as they're folding. And then down here. Remembering that this is just an experiment makes this more fun. And then the places where I went over, like here on the sleeve, I can just paint over that again. Fix that up a little bit. And add a little more of the highlight to the sleeve. Maybe a little more here. Don't be afraid to finger paint. Sometimes it's really fun. My favorite of the neons is neon red. And I'm going to add this on top of her scarf. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it definitely shows better this way than if I was to just put it straight on there by itself. This is also giving like sheer scarf vibes, so that's good. I like sheer scarves. And I'm gonna use this transparent burnt sienna ink by Liquitex. I have brown eyes. I usually like to make my figures with brown eyes, but sometimes I don't. That's another way to connect personally to the image you're creating, is to give it features that are similar to yours. Let's outline her arm and her hand. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. And let me kind of define the sleeve here. I'm just using this Sharpie and kind of scribbling because it just makes it more fun when I release perfectionism and I just think of this like, this is like a first draft. If I want to do this again, I can even paint over it, or I can do the whole thing again. Make sure your paint is dry and then you can start outlining some things. Blow dryer is good for that. Speed up the process. I'm just gonna give everything a quick little outline. I'm gonna outline the edges of her hair. So depending on what you write and what you're going through in your life, you can put something different in her hand, or you can just have both of her arms down and then just paint some type of a symbol. You could put like a bird or a flower or a moon or a sun, something here in the center of her that could also represent what you wrote about and what you're going through. I'm going to just go ahead and use this marker. And sketch this flower. Just doing one of these really wonky flowers that I love. Maybe I'll put 3 leaves on it to represent my 3 children. And then I'm going to color this in with a Sharpie because I think it will be better. Maybe not. I'm just going to add her pupils, trying to get them as close to the center in each eye as possible. And then evening them out with the white dot in the same spot usually helps everything. I think I'll add I like to use chalk pastel for the cheeks. I just use a Q-tip and my chalk, and I add it with like this circular motion, and it makes it so quick and easy to give this soft cheek. And you can add like as many layers as you want. After you kind of push it into the paper, you can add more and make it brighter and brighter to your liking. Add some to the nose. Lastly, and this is optional, I'm going to give the background a coat of paint. I'm choosing this yellow color. This is Liquitex Fluid Acrylics in cadmium yellow. And I'm going to use a bigger brush so that I can cover space quicker and more effectively. And with the yellow, you're going to see the writing. Yellows are usually more transparent. than other colors. So I'm just feeling really fiery lately, and whatever color you choose, you could choose it to reflect your mood or the encouragement that you want to give yourself. Colors have meaning, and if you don't know about that yet, you could research the meaning of colors, or you can just choose to what feels nice to you, and that's usually, it lines up correctly to what you're going through anyway. Just trust yourself. You intuitively know the colors to choose. Oh my gosh, I love this. It's just, I feel so much warmth here now. Feels like a big hug to me. And then let's say I wanted to cover up some of the words. I would just use a more opaque color. I could use white, or just because this is here, I have this peach color. You know, you can kind of blur out the words in certain places. You could paint the whole, you can paint very opaque over all the words. You can just give yourself a solid color. You could give yourself a solid color and then use a stencil over it to add images, or you could create a little scene back here. You could do like a night sky, a dark color, and then put the moon and stars or something like that. Let's try white. And then you could definitely keep going and add like pattern to her dress. You could collage in images like animals. For example, it's Leo season right now as I'm creating this, and I'm always really into lions. I love the image of a lion. So I could collage some lions in here, possibly. I could do it in a very surrealistic way and have lions, you know, floating around or whatever. Lions with wings or something. And I can do whatever I want. This is my painting and no one's telling me what to do. This is just for me. And if I happen to like it, then I will hang it in my studio. I'll post about it. But if I'm not, you know, if I don't love it, then that's okay. It was a really, really good practice and learning experience for me. And so there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like this content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Liking and sharing the video helps me too. And if you are interested in more of this, meet me back here next Friday, and we'll go exploring again with mixed media portraits. Thanks so much for watching.